I have a friend, a big Latino family who lived next door to a black family in South Central where I went as my first pastorate when I was 11 years ordained. And it was a very big mix of Latinos and African Americans there in the community. And one of the things I noticed about the black community was that the elders have a very special teaching role, especially, in my opinion, the women. They are like wise people. They have a lot of sayings to kind of help the youth learn how to direct their life. So there was this woman, they all referred to her as Miss Tiny, and Miss Tiny had all these truths, and she observed my friend frustrated and working over something that he wanted to accomplish, and I think in her wisdom, she just saw, this is a waste of your energy and time. You're going after the wrong thing. So she used to say this. She said, son, because everyone was her son, black, white, brown, didn't matter. Son, she said, work long, work wrong. Work long, work wrong. And she was trying to tell him, look at what you're doing. All of this energy, and it's not doing anything. It's not accomplishing because you're doing or going after the wrong thing. Right or wrong, that was her opinion, her wisdom, and it's something he grew up saying, yeah, I learned that. Work on the wrong things, work too long, you're probably working on the wrong thing. Another one she said, and I just saw this on something in the paper, it says, is stupid, does stupid. Is stupid, does stupid. So if we are acting stupid and going after stupid things, eventually, if it's in here stupid, it's going to come out stupid. Well, that reminded me of this conversation between the Sadducees and the Pharisees in the scripture today. They were having an argument. They had a long-standing argument over the resurrection. Some believed in the resurrection after death, others did not. So they bring this question. This is one of the times they weren't trying to trip up Jesus. They were actually trying to get some direction out of Jesus. But before I go into it, I want to do an updated version. Now, I wrote this down. It's so complicated, I had to put it this way. Okay. And this is to include our children here, okay? Because sometimes I think this stuff may be over the head. You'll get this. You'll get this, children. Here's the argument. Candy is bad for the teeth. Candy is good for the teeth. Now, all the parents, especially those who are paying the dentist bills, say, candy is bad for the teeth. All the children say, candy is good for the teeth. I want more, okay? So, it got so big, this complicated argument over candy is bad for the teeth, candy is good for the teeth. One of the children came forward and put this question. What if you eat candy 7 hours a day for 777 days? Will the teeth fall out? That's the updated version. Here's the one in the scriptures, the Jewish version. Let me first of all give the background. How many people here have heard of the Levirate law? The Levirate law. Can you sum it up quickly? Okay, here it is. It's in the gospel today. Go ahead. Okay, I need 7 boys or men to stand up. Any 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Could you stand? 1 brave woman, because this is going to fall on you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Even I can count. 5, 6. 5, no, okay, 1 woman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more men. 6 and yes, Pedro. 6 and 7. Okay. Now, all right, here's the Levirate law in short. You married this man, okay? These are all brothers, by the way, 7 brothers. You married Pedro, but Pedro could not produce a male son, and then he died. Boom. So you have to marry his brother, who is to provide his first son. So you marry his brother, can't produce a son, boom, you're gone. So brother 3, you marry him, tries to produce his son, because if a son gets born, it's not considered his, it's his. He dies, boom. 4th, boom. 5th, I'll save you last, okay, because you're the youngest. 5th, boom. 6th, boom. Surely this young, strong one can't produce a son, goodbye. So, now she dies. goes to heaven, and when she gets there, the big question before God is, who's her husband? She had 7 husbands. This is the law. Now, who cares? That's the issue. Why is it important? Because for the Jewish people, for the Latin people, I don't know about the Filipinos, I think in my German culture, most cultures, and here's where somebody wiser in history must speak to me later. You Google this, not during Mass, and I want to know when the first queen, the real first queen who had power, came into power, because women were powerless and had no position. Maybe the very, very wealthy, but queens, when did they end up really that they could run a queendom or kingdom? Because they didn't have power, but the men did. And in many families, in many cultures, I know clearly in the Latino culture, the firstborn boy, you can have daughter, boy, daughter. Who's the king? That boy. He's the one. Am I right? This is the way it is. Right or wrong, like it or don't. So, the firstborn son was very important, but if he couldn't produce it, then his brother had the responsibility to produce his firstborn son. And in this particular case, 7 brothers, they couldn't do it, they all died, she died. Who's the husband? It's the Levirate law. And the gospel even says, as Moses told us, doesn't mention it, but it is the Levirate law. This is what you have to do. So, this is the point of the gospel, because these people fighting over the resurrection issue come with this incredible case. And by the way, what should tell us that not only is this a case to try to make all cases, I'll give it away, the number 7. 7 brothers. So this is to lift the argument to the highest possible argument that you could imagine. 7 brothers, and nobody can produce that firstborn son. So who will the husband be? And Jesus typically doesn't answer the question. He answers a different question. He answers the real question. Really? Do you think God is all concerned over the dead? There is no dead in God. No one dies in God. They live in a new way. Because God is the God of the living, not of the dead. And why this is so valuable and important for us, especially during this month of November, this is the month when we lift up our dead. But we stand as a Catholic Church in the place to say there are no dead. No one's dead in God. They're alive in new ways. And why we should get this is because it's true in our living state. I'm 66. I know I look much younger, thank you, okay? But I'm 66 years old. And what I discover is parts of me die and come to life in new ways. Attitudes die and are transformed into new ways of thinking, especially when I am connected to my God and especially to Jesus Christ. When I allow the Spirit of God to flow in me, I find I'm taken to new places. I don't stick around, is stupid, does stupid. Not that I never do that, but it's not the way of life for me. It's kind of an accident. It's when I trip over my own feet. Work long, work wrong. I've discovered that's true. When I want what I want, when I want it, and I want it right now, and give it all to me, it's usually wrong. And I make a mess of it. But when I open it up to the Spirit of God, when I hear what Jesus teaches and try to follow it, I find things come to life. Even illness, even bad relationships, everything. Somehow there's a deeper issue. And that's what Jesus connects today, to the deeper issue. Our God is not a God of the dead. Who are you? What do you believe? Our God is a God of the living, and even our dead live in God, and God lives in them. I don't usually refer to this, but I refer you to my little column in the bulletin today, because every once in a while I get inspired because the scriptures are just amazing. And this is what the scriptures are focusing on us today. Even the first reading, all with that number 7, trying to elevate to us the question in a way that almost forces us to ask, what do we believe? What do we believe about our God? Really? Could you believe in a God that creates us and puts us in this life filled with so much beauty and pleasure and depth and complexity and simpleness and wonder, and then we just die and it's all over? Not my God. He says, Perry, this was just an introduction to eternity and life forever, love eternal. It's an introduction. Enjoy it, live it to the full. Don't waste it on stupid stuff. Live it to the full. But there's even more for you. And when you die, if you have one or two people who really mourn your loss, their loss in you, don't worry about it. You're going to have more than you could ever imagine because you'll be one with me forever. One with me forever. Now, an example of work wrong, work long, work wrong, is stupid, does stupid, perhaps is placed before us in many ways on this Tuesday. I really hope everyone who is registered to vote votes. I hope nobody here is so irresponsible or unappreciative that they don't go to the polls. Yes, I made a judgment. You got to go to the polls. That's your responsibility. That is a gift in our country. There's so much protection around it. Go to the polls. If you only vote for one thing, go and vote for something or someone. And it's always good to be educated. Sometimes we don't seem to find the time for it. But if you wish to vote along Catholic lines, and I'm not saying you have to or you must, no matter what some priests or people or bishops get up and say, you've got a mind and you've got a heart, and it's responsible thinking on your part to look through the issues and the people and do the best you can do what you believe in. You don't have to tell anybody anything. It's none of their business who you vote for or what you vote for. But the bishops, the church does get actively involved, not so much in persons who are running, but in issues. And the California bishops are not unique in this. So plastered on our doors, we've been asked to talk about Proposition 62, and it's about the death penalty. And there's actually 3 issues before us about prison, life, and death. And the bishops are urging that we would vote for Proposition 62, which will end the death penalty. And I don't know if it's accidental. I think it is. I don't think they looked ahead and suggested it on this Sunday. This just happens to be the last Sunday before we vote. But does this not connect very deeply with this gospel today? Are we any different than those Sadducees fighting over the question of death and resurrection? Naming 7 brothers, all of them dying, no firstborn son, and who will be the husband? I mean, we could just look at the issues of fighting over, get them killed faster, or if you're going to keep them alive in there and have the death penalty, it's more expensive than they're being in regular jail for the rest of their life. There are all these practical issues. But is there a deeper issue here? And I think for Christians, I think for Roman Catholic Christians in particular, there is. Our God is a God of the living. And Jesus takes incredible interest in the living, in every aspect of our living, especially the things of the Spirit. And one of the things that I think we believe in deeply as Christians is mercy. Our Pope made this a year of mercy, that we would contemplate and think about and talk about the mercy of God. And is it available for everyone, every sinner, no matter how great the sin? Yeah. Who are we to play God's role in saying who should find mercy and not? And if we take this case, somebody lives for 77 years. 77 years, and for 76 of them, they are tyrants and ugly and stupid and wrong and bad and mean and nasty and everything that is anti to the gospel. And on 77 years, 364 days, one day left, they wake up and boom, they get it. They get it. And they discover, whether it be by mystery or whatever, they discover the mercy of God. And for one day of their 77 years, alas, only one day, they soak themselves in the mercy of God. And they are able at this moment to say, I was wrong. I was stupid, I did stupid. I was wrong. But today, God, I say to you with all my heart and soul and sincerely, I love you. I'm sorry. forgive me. And they swim in the mercy of God for 24 hours and then, boop, they're gone. I'd say, God, you did another miracle. Took a long time for this person, but you did a great miracle. And I don't know about you, but as ridiculously exaggerated as it is, just like the Sadducees today, as ridiculous as it is, it forces us to ask the question, do we believe in God's mercy? Do we believe that God is a God of the living, not the dead? If so, do we have to wait 76 years, 364 days, and put everything on that last day? Or could it not awaken in us right now a conviction and a desire to know this God? A desire to say, God, I want your mercy, I want your love, and I believe that you are alive in me and calling me to life, not just to a bigger life, a better life, a fuller life, to the fullness of life. And not just at the end of my living days, but today and every day. Because if we come to that point, the whole point of these scriptures today has done its work. It's opened us up and made us more aware of a living God who lives in every second of our day, always calling us to more life.